Hello, everyone. And when I say everyone, I'm talking about all my viewers. I don't know if you happen to notice, but I have over 57 subscribers to my YouTube channel. Way more than Beyonce. I don't even care about those kinds of things. It's just that, you start out and you hear about people becoming internet sensations. But when it happens to you, it's a little overwhelming. But you know what? Forget about me and my YouTube superstardom. Let's make some art. And with Valentine's Day right around the corner, let's put our hearts into it, shall we? Well, it's almost Valentine's Day, so today we're going to make, you guessed it, Christmas cards. No, I'm just kidding. Just want to see if you're paying attention. We're making Valentine's Day cards. And the first thing that you need to get are two pieces of paper that are different colors. Now, it can be any two colors that you want. It can be blue and orange, red and green, purple and yellow. I picked gray and maroon. Now, they're not typical Valentine's Day colors, but I thought I'd express a little bit of school spirit. So I've got gray and I've got maroon. When I have these two pieces of paper, I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to very carefully cut out the two shapes. And when I cut, I want to cut right on the pencil line. So go ahead and start doing that now. And as you cut, we'll cut together. I want you to be very careful that you cut right on the pencil line. Sometimes people have the habit of cutting just right next to the pencil line, just inside the pencil line or just outside the pencil line. And when you do that, you're actually changing the shape of whatever it is that you're cutting out a little bit. If I want both of these to be exactly the same shape, and if I cut one of them just inside the pencil line and the other one just outside the pencil line, well, they're not going to be the same shape. So I've cut one out so far. Now I'm going to cut out the other. And again, I'm going to take my time. It's not a race. And we're having fun, so we want it to last. As long as we get it done in one class period, we're all set. I'm cutting very carefully, and I'm cutting with little cuts. When you cut with big, long cuts, then your lines tend to get a little bit off course. So take your time, and I'm cutting with little, tiny cuts. If I'm off by a little bit, I'm going to go back. Make sure that I'm cutting right on the line. Well, now I've got the two basic shapes cut out, and they kind of remind me of like the little ghosts on Pac-Man. Maybe that Pac-Man reference is a little bit archaic. It was a video game that was around 100 years ago when I was a kid. It also reminds me a little bit of a bird footprint. Well, if that bird had flat toes. See, here's his heel right here, and now he's got these three toes, but they're flat on the end. You can see also there's two lines here. I'm going to very carefully cut right on those lines. Cut all the way to the end of the pencil line, but no farther. So continue cutting. Any place that you see a pencil line, that's where you want to cut. Now you can see those three toes on my bird's foot. Do it on both pieces of paper. And if you're finished ahead of me or ahead of the rest of the class, well, I guess you're just going to have to wait for us a little bit. Now I'm finished right now, and this is all that I'm going to need to make my Valentine's shape, because if you put them together, you can see that they make a heart. Well, I switched my colors from gray and maroon to blue and orange because I thought they'd be a little bit easier to see. But like I mentioned before, just by putting these two pieces of construction paper together, you can see how it already looks like a heart. But there's a reason that we cut 3 strips into both pieces of construction paper, and the reason is that we want them to weave into each other to make the heart a little bit more interesting, a little bit more attractive, because doing things with a little bit more style and flair, well, that's what art class is all about, isn't it? So I'm going to start off with one piece of paper, and I'm going to lay it down flat, and as I put the other piece of paper on top, the thing that I want to keep in mind is that I want to alternate colors as I lay the papers on top of each other. So the first thing that I'm going to do is lay down one color, and I'm going to lay it down so that I can see my pencil lines. When I do, I'm going to lift up the middle toe, if you will. If you think back to when I talked about this being a bird's foot, I'm going to lift up the middle toe, and when I do, I'm going to put the other piece of paper right inside so it lies down just the way that it did before we did anything. Remember before, when we laid the paper down, we just laid the colors down so that they both came to a point right here, and the top two curves made the heart shape. Well, I'm going to do the same thing, but right now I'm going to lift up one piece of paper and put the other piece of paper down. Go ahead and do that now. All I did was lift up one middle toe and then put the other piece down right here. And by doing that, my top row is finished. I've got blue, orange, and blue. I want to do that with all of my rows, and I've got 3 rows going across, 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. With each one of them, all I have to keep in mind is I want to make it so that there's no two colors right next to each other. So I've got blue, orange, and blue. So what color should this be? I want the color of this one to be orange because I don't want blue right next to blue. So ask yourself, what color do I want this to be? I want it to be orange. Well, where's the orange paper? It's right here at the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm starting at the top right here, okay, where this curve is. I've got blue and I want it to be orange. So where's the orange? It's right here. So I'm going to pick up the orange. It's right here because it's underneath. And now I put it on top. Now I've got blue and orange right next to each other. The next problem is that I've got orange and orange right next to each other. So ask yourself, what color should the next color be? It should be the opposite. I've got orange, it should be blue. Where is the blue? It's right here. So what do I have to do? I have to lift it up. Now I've got blue, orange, blue, blue, orange, blue. So ask yourself, what color should everything be? This should be orange. This should be blue, so it's all right, but what color should this be? Well, if it's blue here, I want it to be orange. Where is the orange? It's underneath. So I'm going to lift it up. Now I've completed blue, orange, blue. Orange, blue, orange. Ask yourself what color everything should be. Blue, orange, blue, so that's okay. But if I have blue right next to blue, ask yourself what color this should be. This should be orange. Where is the orange? It's underneath. So I'm going to lift up the orange and put it back down. I'm almost finished, but now I've got blue, orange. I never want to have 2 colors right next to each other, so what color should this be? It's going to be blue. Where is the blue? It's underneath. So there you go. This is what I want the heart to look like. Go ahead and give this a try. If you're having a little bit of trouble, I'll show you one more time with my other color. If you think you've got it, go ahead. If you don't have it, I'll show you one more time. Start out by putting one color down, the other color on top. After you've done that, you lift up the middle flap and you put it down again. And the first row is already finished. Maroon, gray, maroon. But now I want this to be what color? If this is maroon, I want it to be gray. Where is the gray? It's underneath. Now this flap is probably the toughest one to do because it's so far underneath, but I know where it is and I know where I want it to be, so I'm just going to go like that. After I've done that, ask yourself, I've got maroon and gray. What color should this be? It should be maroon. Where is the maroon? It's underneath. I'm going to lift it up. And now already I've got this row and this row finished. Gray, maroon. What color should this be? Well, if it's right next to maroon, it should be a different color. So I'm going to Find the different color, it's underneath, and lift it up. Now I have everything finished except this final row, and this is the easiest one. It's gray, maroon, it should be maroon. Oh, pardon me, it's maroon, gray, it should be maroon. This is maroon, what color should this be? It should be gray. Where is the gray? It's underneath. So now I'm going to put it on top. This is gray, but you can tell I've got too much gray at the bottom. So what color should this be? It should be maroon. And where's the maroon? It's on the bottom. So go ahead, work on getting colors so that they alternate like this. And you may find that the edges are a little bit uneven. So if you take a look at this, this comes out a little bit too far. This comes out a little bit too far. This really isn't even. So if I pull them back a little bit, they line up better. That's what I want. I want to have this make a nice smooth row. Take a few minutes and think of it kind of as a puzzle, sort of like a Rubik's Cube. If you don't get it right away, keep trying. All you have to keep in mind is that you want to have each color alternate just like a checkerboard. And if it's not the right color, where is the right color? It's right underneath. So all you have to do is reach underneath, pull it out, and put it on top. Take just a couple minutes and go ahead to do that. Well, my heart is woven nice and neat. And to make sure it doesn't slide around after I have it just where I want it, I'm going to take my glue stick and I'm going to put glue in just a couple of spots. I don't need to put it all over, but I'll put it right here. Oops. And I'll put a little bit of glue right here, just maybe on the little end flaps. I don't need to put it way up on top, but just maybe at the ends. You can see how this one would lift up. So I'm going to put a little glue right there. And I think that's all the glue that I need. Now, if you look, one side has still got those pencil lines. This side looks much neater and cleaner. This is the side that I want to show. After I have my heart woven and glued together, I'm going to put it on top of this card right here. And when I do, if you look closely, on one side there's a little dot right here. That's where I'm going to put the bottom of my heart. I'm going to put it right on that dot. That way I know that it's centered perfectly on my white card. And I want to make it so that there's a little bit of space on the top, a little bit of space on the side, a little bit of space on the bottom, and a little bit of space on the other side. I want to make it, if I can, so that all of these spaces all the way around are exactly the same. If I'm off by a little bit, that's okay. But if I put the bottom of my heart right on that dot there, I should have it centered pretty well. Go ahead and take your glue stick, put the glue on the pencil side of your heart, and remember that when we glue things, we want to put glue all the way around the edges. We don't need much glue in the center, just around the edges. If I put a generous amount of glue all the way around my heart, and I place the bottom point of my heart right on that little dot, and press down, I have a nice little Valentine's Day card. Now, if I want to, I can be finished except for whatever message I want to write on the inside of my card. But if I want to make it a little bit different, take advantage of this heart shape, I can cut around and I'm not getting too close. I want to leave plenty of space. You can see how I cut the bottom here, and I didn't get too close. If I decided I wanted to get closer, for example, if I cut up here, and I said, well, this space is a little bit too big, I want to make it a little bit smaller, I can always cut closer to the heart, but once I cut too close, well, the paper is gone, I can't do anything about it. So I'm going to cut all the way around, but it's important that I don't cut the top. You can see how this is all still connected. If I cut this right here, well, my card is going to fall apart. So cut around the card, but leave the top uncut. I'm going to make one tiny little triangle cut at the top. And now I have a Valentine's Day card that is shaped just like a heart. The only thing that I have to do is write my message on the inside of my card, and it's ready to present to my Valentine. Well, my Valentine's Day heart is all finished, except for, of course, the message that I write inside, which is far too intimate and romantic to share with you little monsters. I hope you enjoyed working on your Valentine's Day card. I hope you share your Valentine's Day card with someone special, because art is meant to be shared, especially when it's something as personal and as important as a Valentine's Day card. I also hope that you look forward to our next project together, which is probably going to be after vacation. So until we get together again, stay creative, stay safe, stay Cougar strong. We'll see you soon.